Hello everyone and Happy New Year. It is Jillian from Jelly Bean Crafting coming to you from Langley, British Columbia. And we're going to play with some new stuff. So, trying to just get my lighting a bit better. It has been a hot minute. Doesn't mean I haven't been creating, but lots of times I'm making stuff that I can't necessarily share. It's either part of a swap or it's for a stamp camp or something like that. But today we are going to create with this new bundle called Greenery Lane. So let me just get a few things sorted out here. So I just want to show you guys, this is the new style of stamps and dies moving forward. So this is everything from now on will look like this. These are from the January to April mini catalog. So you can see everything comes in these sleeves, both dies and stamp sets. Everything has images, so you know what your dies look like, what you should have inside of it. And it makes it easier to store them all. Everything is photopolymer. I am still tracing my dies so that I know where to put them back. The other thing you might be able to see that I've done is I have outlined where the stamps go. I did watch a video about a way to do this and I just haven't gone back to it to sort of figure it out. So in the meantime, I'm just drawing on here so that you kind of know where to put the stamps back. So that is what that looks like. All, like I said, come in these sleeves. So we are going to be using this. The other piece that goes along with this bundle is this washi tape. So this is the second time Stampin' Up! Has done this washi tape like this. It's 3.5 inches wide, and then you get this massive roll. So the dies will cut out some of these shapes. So I'll show you that. And then otherwise you can just use a whole sheet of this in your design, which is what we're gonna do here today. So I'm gonna put these things aside. I've got some things already prepped for us just to make it a little bit quicker. So this is the card we are making. This is a case straight out of the catalog. So this is one of the samples in the catalog. I did have to modify slightly because I didn't have the embellishments that they had. So, and I realized after that my card is actually smaller than it should be, so I'm not sure where I didn't cut my cardstock properly. Regardless, the washi tape has Lost Lagoon and Garden Green. So we have a Lost Lagoon card base, Garden Green for our accent piece here. And then these gems are actually, I think they're Pool Party. They are in the annual catalog. They're these shades of green. So I think it's the Pool Party. These ones, Pool Party. This piece of DSP is in the new catalog. It's a Nature Walk Suite. So it's a really lovely cloud cover. And then we did some stamping, we did some heat embossing, and then I was guessing what they used in the sample. It looked to me like it was this gray granite baker's twine. So that is what the one that I've already made. We are gonna make a similar one and just kind of play with the features. I have already, because I wanted to show you die cutting, but basically you put the washi tape on a piece of cardstock. So I put it on white, that's what they use in the catalog. I would be curious to see what it looks like on another color, so I might try that, but I have not for this. So I've already cut this piece. It's 3.5 by 5.5, and this is where we're going to lay our washi tape. I suspect there is a method, and I suspect I will get better as I go, but at the moment, I'm just kind of laying it a little bit past the edge. And then I find with the short piece, I was okay. With the longer piece, I went a bit crooked. I want to say that your bone folder might be a good approach, although what I'm doing right now seems to be working well. You just kind of want to walk your hand along it so that it will not have any bubbles. So that actually worked really well. And then now I am just going to cut using my scissors. Sorry, I don't have my iPad going at the same time, so if you are commenting, I am not seeing that. but I promise I will look and reply after the fact. So now we have that piece, and I'm going to trim this end as well. So this is our focal point, this washi tape, which if you didn't know it was washi tape, you would just think it was a piece of DSP. So like I said, this is 3.5 by 5.5. And then I have just played around with our card colors this time. So I have pulled out a cloud cover card base because I feel like this, you can see how close it is to this like muted Lost Lagoon. And then I have pulled out Pretty Peacock, which is our darker shade for Lost Lagoon. So this is 3.5 by 5.5. This one is 3 3/4. So we are going to frame that piece. And then that is what's going to go on our card front. So we can go ahead and do that. You can see, because I don't like to waste paper, I have die cut some of these die pieces out of this because it's just going to be covered. You're not going to see it anyway. So it is a great way to conserve cardstock. It's a great way to conserve metallics for sure. I always do it when I'm working with metallics. And I almost always do it when I'm working with basic white because we use basic white for so much stuff that I don't like to leave any of it just hidden behind something when I can die cut a couple of circles or some banners or, you know, a rectangle to use on a future project. Okay, so that is that layer done. And then it is gonna go on here, but then we need our twine. So if we look at the twine options in this sort of basic Baker's Twine Essentials, we have vanilla, we have white, we have crumb cake, we have gray granite, and then we have black. And then of course we always have our linen thread. So I actually like the gray. I couldn't tell if it was gray or crumb cake. The white, of course, but I kind of like the pop of the contrast. So I think we're actually going to use the gray again, which it actually looks like I've used quite a lot of this. The other option, if you wanted, is you could use your blends and color the ribbon or the twine. I almost always wrap my twine twice. I find I just like it better. I don't like a thin little line of twine. I prefer to have it wrapped twice. Even if I'm doing just a bow with twine, I will often double it up and just have a thicker bow. It's my preference. I mean, obviously I use twice as much twine that way, but okay. So I'm just gonna move that right over to the edge, move it up. Get my ribbon scissors. Trim that, put it away so we don't have a mess. Okay, so we can put that right on and we're not looking for it. I'm gonna just sort of put that right in the middle. Okay, and then we are going to adhere this down. Hopefully everyone had a nice Christmas and a New Year's Eve. Ours was quiet. Just myself, my husband, and our son, and our dog. Our dog was not a fan of New Year's Eve. Very much like Halloween around here. So many fireworks. It was terrible. We thought they would maybe just go off at midnight. They, of course, went off at 9 Pacific, which is, you know, midnight back east. And then they went off at, you know, 8:30. They went off at 10. They went off at midnight. It was not ideal by any means. Okay, so that's that bit. And now the initial card that we're casing had one of these pieces, so I've already die cut that. This one we're gonna save for another project. In this case, I've done a stitched essentials circle in Lost Lagoon as opposed to garden green. So now I want to bring in some of the garden green. So this image is this beautiful stamp, which has a coordinating die, which hopefully I've put back. Yes. So I thought we would try two things. We're going to stamp it in garden green, but I wanted to see which we liked better. So we're going to stamp it on white, which I know will look great. But I also wanted to see what it would look like if we stamped it on soft seafoam. Okay, so we'll die cut both of those and then decide which we would like to use. And then the other thing we are going to need, of course, is our Versamark and our white embossing powder. And then instead of Here For You, I was going to do Love and Hugs. And then I also thought we might do a couple of these small flower images, and there is a die for them as well. So we have to, I use this non-permanent tape, Amazon, Sizzix. There are different versions. I know there are other people who use Post-it notes. So whatever you've got that keeps your dies from moving. I'm gonna just do this on my large die cutting machine. I think this die would fit through your small one, but I'm just gonna do it on the large. And we will cut this out twice. Hello from Connecticut. Hello, Carol, how are you? Is it cold there? It is not cold here. We've actually had some really great weather recently. No rain, no snow. Cool, it's been like 0 degrees -1 in the morning, which, you know, that's cold here. My son and my husband are actually going to San Diego tomorrow for lacrosse. I am staying home with the dog this time. All right, let's see which one we like better. They're probably going to be quite similar, but just, curious. I reuse those pieces of tape over and over and over until they lose their stick. Move this off so that we can clean it. Move that off. Okay, so if we bring this over here, and then this guy just kind of layers in behind. And so let's just see which one we like better. So this is the green stamped on the white. So you can kind of see what that looks like. Green stamped on white. You know, I don't know, nothing to write home about one way or the other. And then let's take a look at it stamped on soft seafoam. Which I actually think I might go with. I think it pops a little bit more. Oh, hello, Lori. 18 degrees and windy. Okay, so I think I kind of like that one. I'm curious what you guys prefer, or did you prefer just the white? I can see your comments if I stand up, so if you give me a comment, we can decide before we actually put it together. We are going to stamp though with our Versamark. Just gonna get my embossing buddy. Okay, and like I said, we're gonna do Love and Hugs this time. Make sure I have my bag of embossing powder. Center this. So it's great, these sentiments both fit on this same circle, so you can kind of change them in and out. So this is great. I am going to have 2 beautiful cards all set to go. If I have someone who, you know, needs a condolences or is just having a rough go, or maybe isn't feeling well. So let's do our embossing. Pull over my heat gun. Hang it back up. Oh. Okay, did you guys comment? No, no comments. Okay, I'll have to decide on my own. I get it. I get it. Okay, we're gonna want dimensionals on that. I have a whole bunch of sheets where I am using at the edges. And because of the twine, I just want it there and there. So I'm just gonna kind of lay this on here. And then I'm gonna play around with this. And then once I kind of have it where I like it, I am just going to stick this down on top of it. So, I thought that would work. You can see that it's not. So that's fine. We're just gonna have to get a little bit tricky. So I'm gonna take a little bit of liquid glue and I'm just gonna kind of like squeeze it inside of here so that this will stick down. So, you know, it's good to see that my ideas don't always work. Center that where I like it, fix my twine, because now when I push this down, it is going to stick because of the glue. Okay, so I had a couple of thoughts. One, like I said, was I thought of maybe putting some of these flowers on here. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna get Pretty Peacock ink. And we are going to stamp some of these flowers. And see what we think of them. Instead of embellishments. Now, the great thing about this is there are 2 doubles of these, so we can actually die cut all of this at once. I'm just gonna get a new piece of tape. So put that on, and then we have another double. And then we got a single. Which may or may not, sometimes you can't squeeze them all in here because they're gonna overlap. So I'm gonna have to do that single by itself just because of where I stamped it. So I'm gonna die cut these guys. I've kicked my drink over like 3 times now. Okay. Got those little guys. Do I have 4 of them? I have 3. Where'd the other one go? Oh, there it is. Okay, and then let's die cut this guy. This is one of my favorites instantly out of this new catalog. It reminds me of a past set, Forever Fern, I think is what it was called. It had some beautiful little images like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick these dies back because the last thing I need is to be looking for them after the fact. Okay, and then I thought we might kind of use these almost like embellishments. Let's see what we think here. I think I like it up there. What do you guys think? So the other thing I do with this tape is I use it to hold elements together. So when I come up with something that I like, I will use it to pick it up. And now I'm just going to use a single dimensional on all 3 of these. As opposed to dealing with each one of them separately. And same thing here. I'm going to take this and then I'm going to get a couple of minis probably on this guy. But it's just something I often do because if I've already played around with placement and I know the second I pick it up, well, now I'm not going to remember how I had it. So then if I use that tape, which is not permanent, then it keeps them how I had them. Although I don't really love those actually on the dimensionals. So I'm going to go back to the tape. No, it didn't matter. Doesn't stick. Okay. I'm going to take them off. Sometimes that happens, you know. You think you want it to be puffy and you don't. So I don't actually want that to be puffy. I'm going to use a little bit of white glue here. And then I'm just going to stick them back down. They just looked way too puffy to me. And now I probably don't really love those either. I can't tell if you guys are still watching. So I might Okay, I'm just gonna move that a little bit more to the side, and then I don't mind it so much. Okay, and then this might actually be a great card for just some pearls or some rhinestones. I literally never use rhinestones anymore. But I'm gonna pull out the pearls and I'm gonna pull out the rhinestones, and we'll see which one we like. So again, this is what I will often do. So I'm just gonna like place those on there. And see, so I'm not actually pressing them down, which allows me the option to lift them back off if I don't like it. So that's what the pearls look like. And then I'm going to see what the rhinestones look like. Oh, I think I might go with the rhinestones. I don't remember the last time I used rhinestones. Thing is, now we have so many embellishments. I don't know if you guys feel like this. There are so many amazing embellishments that there's so many options. You don't need, like, rhinestones used to be when you didn't have anything, right? Nothing else matched, or you needed something like that was pretty neutral. But now Stampin' Up! Is doing such a great job with all of the options, things that coordinate. Okay, there we have it. Now, we could put some more, you know, I feel like you could put some more embellishments, but we are not going to. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what that looks like. So this is direct case from the catalog, and then here is just sort of a little, I don't know, zhuzhed up version. Okay, so that is the main thing I wanted to show you. But then the other thing I wanted to just demonstrate or show you. So this is a giant piece, basically 11 inches by the 3.5. And I just want to show you how, I'm not going to die cut it, but I just want to show you how these dies will also die cut your washi. And then you can use these shapes as die cuts in your projects. So there's quite a few of them that will die cut, and then you can make a beautiful card using these different die cuts. Okay, so that is the other great piece about this. And one more thing, I just figure if we're on here showcasing, let's do it all. It is a 2 step stamp set. So, for example, we have the outline, which I'm going to do in Secret C, and then we have the inner piece. So I'm going to ink it up in Secret C, and then I'm actually going to stamp it off. And then it's going to line up in here. Oh yeah, beautifully. So you can see how pretty that is. And then there's one more, and I'm using these colors inspired by what they had in the catalog. So now here I am using Timid Tiger. And then we are going to do the same. We're going to ink up the middle. I've got it on my thumb, so I'm going to be careful about that. Stamp it off. And then line it up. So really beautiful images with dies for all of that. Okay, that is what I wanted to show you today. So this catalog comes out on January the 6th. If you are local to me and you do not have a copy yet, please let me know. I have copies. Otherwise, it will go online. It will be active on Tuesday, January the 6th. Additionally, in January, Stampin' Up! Is doing bonus days. So there's no celebration anymore, but what they are doing in the month of January is bonus days. I think it goes into February as well. For every $60 you spend, you get a $6 coupon. You also still earn your Stampin' Rewards, and then you will have a month to use those coupons. I will have all the details on my page closer to the time. I actually had it in my stories today, and if you're on my email list, it will come out to you in an email. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you are inspired by this design. I would love to know which one you prefer, the direct case or the one where we went a little bit rogue, and if this will be on your list of items to purchase. All right, everybody, have a great night.